Welcome back to the Wolf of Queen Street podcast. Welcome back onto the YouTube series or the audio podcast if you haven't listened today. Before we get started, today's episode is brought to you by the Dark Heart Grooming Company, skincare for men, natural, honest, organic ingredients based out of New Zealand. And you can find them on Instagram under the Dark Heart Grooming Co. And the next time you place your order, just add in Wolf10 at checkout to get 10% discount. But before we get started, I'm joined by Nathan Frater from Backbone Facebook Marketing. I got contacted through Nathan, or contacted Nathan through a couple of common friends of Josh as well as Gareth Edwards, and reached out to him and said, hey, I like what you guys are doing, what your social brand is about, your Facebook marketing company. And just to give all the listeners a bit of a backstory, Nathan himself was 2 years ago pretty much broke.
Yep, negative
income.
Yeah, I wish it was zero.
I wish it was zero. Yeah. $100,000 lease in a company or in a situation.
Yeah,
personal lease. Living in one of the most expensive places in Auckland or New Zealand, and living above his means, trying to launch and trying to keep the business he had at that stage going, as well as the brand going. And over sort of 2 years to now, what you did is what a lot of people are not willing to do, is go through a scenario, learn and fail, learn and fail again, and say, okay, I'm still not finished, and learn and fail the third and fourth and the fifth time to get to a brand and a product that you can truly say, you've made the mistakes, but now it's an efficient product in Facebook marketing, social marketing, and a brand and a product that's not full of, how I say, hot gas. As most social media marketing agencies says, I'll give you this followers, I'll get you this brand, I'll get you these sales. And most of the time it's the bullshit 1 to 10 steps that everyone else is doing. But pretty much, Nathan, that is your story, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, cool. Awesome, man. Good to be here. Exciting. It's always nice to share a bit of the journey. And the interesting thing you spoke about there was the fail, learn cycle, which... I don't know if you've read Ray Dalio's book, Principles. I wish I could say I'd finished it, but I'm only halfway through. But the first half's great. Yeah. And he talks about living in the constant state of reflection. Yep. He's like, if you can take an event, learn from it, reflect on it, and then use that to feed into how you would act in the future. Yep. And that was, for me, the difference for me between... total failure and actually being able to claw back and learn from everything that happened was, I knew that if I learned from it, I would be able to sell my experience. Yep. And if I learned from it, I always had this sentence, you win or you learn, I like that. Failure only exists in the absence of a lesson. And I always, no matter how shit it got, how much money I lost, I remember having $35,000 debt letter come from the IRD being like, hey, when are you going to pay this? And being like, after my power bill, I guess, and knowing like that it was going to be a story, to take a photo. I've got a folder on my phone for the book, take a photo, going to share that one day in a book. It's going to be funny, and that was it. The only thing that kept me going was like, I got to learn, as soon as you view it as failure, as soon as you view an event as a failure, you self-identify as a failure. Correct. Instead of being a learner.
I totally agree with that. But taking it one step back, we'll obviously talk about a couple of years ago, debt and everything else. Was at that stage your learning curve in the same field you're on now? So social media agency, and branding and so forth, or was it in a side business that you brought yourself into?
This agency was actually the side business. Yep. So Backbone Marketing, which was Outliers in Orbit, was the side business. It was, I had an advisor who told me wisely to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and read that book, loved it, enjoyed it. It really jumped. For me, I didn't just have a poor dad, I had a poor mum and dad and ancestral poverty, we've got 5 generations of not making any money. Yep. That's the one thing that's consistent on both sides, and so I needed that rich dad knowledge. And one of the things they spoke about was 1 in 10 businesses succeeds, right? And so
I think it's actually less.
I think it was after 5 years. 1 in 10.
I was going to say,
And that number like jumped out at me, and so in my head I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going to start 10 businesses." and I already was running this business, and we were in the process of selling it, and losing a lot of money in the process, but needed to exit. It was the best thing for the business. The best thing for us was to move on. And so I was like, fuck, I'm going to start 10 businesses and at once. And so I was involved in, I think 3 years ago, I was involved in 7 or 8 different businesses and bouncing like a fucking pinball between them all.
I can imagine.
And one of them was this agency. One of them was what was Outliers in Orbit, which was a social media marketing agency. And it literally came from, I started, a decade ago selling Facebook pages to people. I knew that I could build them. I knew how marketing worked. And I've always, throughout every job over, since I was 18, people would call me and be like, hey, how do I do a Facebook post? How do I, my website just crashed. What do I do? And I became this kind of, I talk about like a millennial translator. I became a translator for people who are over the age of 40 about how the internet worked. And that was a valuable position. And people would call me and ask me how things worked or what to do. And so that was how the business kind of formed. My business partner and I were living together and we'd made a bit of money. And as I exited, as had that rug pulled out of me, from under me of not having any money. And I was like involved in a few projects, and one of them was this, it was the one that I thought had the highest chance of success.
So was it that you've come down into Backbone at the moment as it was the one that led down to the success, or was the one that survived?
It was kind of the one that survived. I can't tell you the number of times I sat down and wrote a list of everything I was doing and went, which one? Like, what do I fucking choose?
Okay. Anyone that's listening that's in the entrepreneurship game or startup companies, myself, like we said beforehand, Nathan said before we started the podcast, he goes, I've got a really great idea for you. You could have it, because he goes, as you expect, I'm too fucking busy. As most of us, we're too fucking busy. And I have the same dilemma even in the last couple of months, sitting at home and with the missus, and she goes, don't take on something else, don't do another thing, because you've already got so much stuff going on. And I can totally understand it, having 7 or 8, not actually initiatives or thoughts or considerations, but actual businesses. And then going,
all of them had revenue. Like, these were all things that, like, because there's a lot of like sidepreneurship thing where like pre-revenue, 5 of these had revenue. One of them had $10 million in investment secured. Like, that wasn't mine. I was a member of it, but like there were all of these pieces. And I'm sitting there like writing this list, like a honey startup, a decentralized communication platform that my friend was building, all of these things, and then I had a door-to-door laundry service because I didn't want to do my laundry. I fucking hate doing laundry. And I was like, if I hate doing laundry, other people hate doing laundry.
Pretty much.
And so we built this online company with another friend called Easy Lifestyle, where you could literally, this was 4.5 years ago now, we started this. You could go and just type in what you didn't want to do, and we'd find someone to do the thing for you,
So it is literally like a sort of modern day Fiverr in the real world,
Fiverr, we talked about having a nanny, but like as a grown up, having a nanny to do all that shit for you, because
isn't that a personal assistant?
Well, it's kind of. I was only making I would have been making the equivalent of 80 grand a year, working 80 to 100 hours a week in a business, and I didn't have the money. And I understand now I had a fixed mindset. I could have actually hired a PA and probably would have
outsourced
saved the business. But I didn't understand outsourcing at that level. I didn't understand the value of just getting all that shit done. But I knew that if I didn't want to do something, someone else probably didn't want to do it. And so it was more like, if I couldn't afford a PA, but I could afford 1/10 of a PA, And so we found companies that cleaned wheelie bins that, I had my cleaner come in and empty my dishwasher every morning because I was leaving it at a food manufacturing business. I was leaving at 3 a.m. and getting home at midnight.
I totally understand that. There's moments in life where you can't be fucked doing anything, right?
It still has to happen.
Life still has to go on. And totally there is moments, and it's something I've discussed with multiple people on the podcast about outsourcing. What firstly you either A, can't do, B, don't want to do, or unsure how to do it or don't have the skill level. And people have a challenge. I've even had the challenge of looking into going outsourcing, going in the beginning, sometimes hard to go, okay, I'm going to outsource even at $200 a week. I'm going to get someone to do 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week, depends if it's a virtual assistant or so forth. But I don't see the money straight away. So I put out 200 a week.
Well, it's sticky. There's a lag.
Yeah. So I put out 200 a week, and then most mentality goes, well, am I going to get my 200 next week from what I time make it? And you've got to be realistic. It's the same as an investment on anything. If I invest in the first step, you can't expect a return 3 or 4 weeks later.
No.
It's a recouping of that time or the freedom that you have or the less of the stress you have so you can focus on what's needed. I mean,
and how do you quantify it? How do you quantify your efficacy increasing because your stress is decreased?
You can't.
You can't.
You can't. I mean, it's as simple as anyone that's selling a product, anyone that's selling a workshop, mastermind, anything like that in that sort of world, having an admin manage the bookings, the slots, 100%. The times. Even myself, I've got another podcast scheduled in a week, 17-hour difference in America. I've got to coordinate and spend a couple of hours with the person that I have to bring on to work out what's the best time slots, and so on and forth. So if they cancel, if they shift, if I have to shift, there's 3 or 4 hours just to book, to confirm a booking. Not even, not even the work is taken, and that is total dead time.
Dead time. It's low. It's high input, low output, and so we do with all of our clients. So we have different levels of clients. Our kind of high level program is building a business around an entrepreneur. So it's Facebook marketing is a small component of it. It's actually going, what do you do every day? What are you doing with your life? Where is your time going? How hard are those tasks? How impactful are those tasks? We have a calculation. You've probably come across similar things in project management where there's a calculation. How hard is this task? How easy is this task? And how impactful will it be? And then that gives you a list of shit that should be outsourced. And we take our clients through that, and then we go, cool, you need a VA. So I have an assistant in the Philippines. I'm about to hire another
virtual assistant. Anyone that's
and on that note, like, we don't hire these. A lot of people hire a VA and they're kind of this not second-rate employee, but they're not part of the team. They're kind of sitting over there. You throw a task at them when you need it. We've fully integrated our assistant. She works closely with myself and with our whole team, and she works for us 40 hours a week. And the amount of like reprieve it gives me to know whenever I don't want to do something, I can go.
Even no matter how shitty it is.
No matter how shitty it is, I've got someone there who's being paid a living wage. And is grateful for the work, and she loves it. She loves learning. Like, we mapped out her values and her objectives, and we went, okay, cool. What do you need in order to get the most out of this job? And she's been with us now for 18 months. We've had, I think we've had 7 employees in the Philippines. She's in the longest standing and the most effective. But it all came down to what you're talking about. How do you quantify the impact of outsourcing something, and how do you quantify how damaging it is, either regretting not doing the thing, like what is the impact of knowing you should do that thing and then not doing it, or what's the impact of that thing not being done, or the opportunity cost. And that's the sort of thing that we're always evaluating, and that I'm always looking at in myself, is like, I want to be more effective beyond just in my business. Like, if I don't outsource things, if I don't pass things off to Joe, to my head of partnerships, to our account management team, if I don't give things to those people and do it all myself, eventually I burn out. And it's my partner that suffers, not me. I'm like, I get to still be me, still get to run my company. I still get, I live in a state of chaos, and that's cool. But all that my partner has, that's, at the end of the day, is a shitty little low energy, low engagement, man who's going, like, why haven't you done the dishes? Which is not who I want to be. I want to give her the best of me. I want her to enjoy me and not resent me.
I mean, it's a challenge we all struggle with, and it's a more of a pressure and depression in setting up of a business. We all see, especially in New Zealand, with a lot of small brands. Trying to set up, again, it's something I talk on every other episode about. In New Zealand, we don't have Americans' population of 350 million. It's 70 times bigger than what we are here. So you don't have that opportunity to get more people to help locally. But also, people not realizing there's the opportunity to outsource it virtually as well at a exceptionally low cost point, right? And people aren't actually aware of it. As Nathan said, the virtual assistance is paid as what they're required to be paid, but the cost point within New Zealand is actually quite cheap.
It can be a third. I mean, it can be a quarter. I mean, a good EA or a good EA is 65K. You know, like that's the salary of a really good executive assistant. I'm paying, you know, under $10 an hour for someone who I've never had to ask her to do something twice. She always comes back with questions if she doesn't know what's going on. Like, her entire working style is different to my Kiwi team. My Kiwi team, I find, are a lot more creative. They're a lot more innovative, very, very high initiative. But the team that we have in the Philippines, they have a completely different working style. Yeah.
And just before anyone says anything, that $10 an hour is the right wage for the country that they employed from and they're based in. So don't give me shit that they're paid under minimum wage. You can fuck off.
Yeah. So, if anyone wants to have that conversation with me, feel free. Send me an email. I'll put you on the phone with Jo and she'll tell you how happy she is because she asked me for $1.80 an hour. You know, like when she applied for the job, she was like, I want $1.80 US an hour, you know? Like, no. And we're like, no, I'm not going to pay you that. And we give her a pay rise at the moment every 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
You know?
No, so just before with people listening and going, no, can you do that? Understand it's a virtual, and that's where a lot of the outsourcing comes from. A lot of the smaller businesses that are smart about the way they're doing, but not necessarily smart, they've been guided the right way. And it's something that Nathan, you guys do, and you guys offer to your customers is going, like we said, you're not good at this.
Yeah.
That can be put there. You're not good at this. This can be sent to that person and so forth and so forth. And then they can focus on their brand, their image, and what they want to try and deploy and build further over 6 or 12 months as well.
Or the highest impact thing, right? Like as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you actually have, when you sign a constitution, you sign a constitution that states you'll act in the best interest of your shareholders.
Yep.
Even if you're a solopreneur, just you are the 100% shareholder.
Yep.
You have a legal obligation to act in the best interest fiscally of your business. And so that means not doing things that you suck at and that you hate doing because that's going to ultimately destroy the company. And that means investing in therapy or investing in coaching or counseling or whatever it is that you need in order to grow. And you know what you're talking about before, like the efficacy, that effectiveness thing. For me, it's like, wouldn't you want to do more of the fun stuff?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
You know,
look at
more of the time.
I mean, it's, you know, years and years ago, property development. Everyone in New Zealand at some stage has done property development. You know, I did a few years ago. Still getting back into it, and everyone sees on TV, you know, all the house flipping shows and everything like that, and they go, "It looks amazing." You get in there, you knock down a wall, you paint a wall.
How hard can it be?
No. First, not how hard it can be. New Zealand's sometimes fucking hard, depending if you know what you're doing. But that looks like the cool shit, right? But they don't realize all the stuff behind the scenes, the paperwork, the council, the approvals, the consent, the lawyers, the bank.
They just want to do the Bunnings job.
Yeah, they just want to do as in New Zealand, they want to do the Bunnings or the Mega Mitres, which is our hardware stores. They want to take a sledgehammer, throw it to the wall, do a cool video, like, yay. And again, it's the same as in the product space and the social media space. Everyone wants to do the fun stuff. And that's what we're saying with the entrepreneurs. We should be pushing ourselves to be able to do the fun stuff and get everything else out the way. And I loved what you said before in the sense that it's your obligation. It's like almost your obligation to do the good stuff and stop doing the shit that you're bad at. Because I make that mistake and the majority of other people do because we don't think of it that way.
Everyone does.
Yeah, everyone does. Yeah. And I love it how you say it. It is your obligation to your company to always do what's best for your company.
Yeah.
And you should have it.
Yeah.
And that's, I love that in sense of saying to people, do you understand that? And therefore you don't want to outsource or you don't want to give it to someone else. You don't want to upskill and stuff like that. You're actually doing damage to your company or your brand.
100%, yeah. And if you're not growing, you know, I've got consultants, coaches, advisors who I talk to all of the time. And that's one of the things, like as a business owner, you need to be growing as well as your business. Yep. And if you're not, you'll stagnate and eventually you'll wrap up the company. And I think that's one thing a lot of people miss is often ego gets in the way, right? Ego gets like, I want to be the hero. I want to be the pride. Yep. I want to be the one who does it all. And for me, I've got a really, really simple few markers.
Yep.
I have these stories that I always go through in my head that I like to hear, and that's what I pursue. And one of them is for my staff. I want to hear the story from my staff of like, thank you, today I had the best day of my life. And I get it. I get text messages. I post them on LinkedIn sometimes because it warms my heart. Like, thank you so much for the opportunity. Like, I love, working with you, or today was the best day I've had in a job in a long time. The other one is from my contractors. I've got a global team of contractors, I get a message from them saying, hey, we really appreciate how you include us in the team. And I'm like, perfect. That's a success marker. Yep. And then from clients, it's, hey, one of our clients went overseas, and he was overseas for 6 weeks, and he made more money in the 6 weeks he was out of the country than he did the previous 6 weeks. Like,
because you allowed the company to do what it needed to do.
Yeah, and he was out of the way, and we were able to do what we needed to do. But we're only able to do that because, like, for me, I employ people who are better than me at certain things. I'm always looking at being, I want to be the dumbest person in the room. And so I pursue people who are better than I am at things. And that concept of employ your weaknesses. And that's what a VA is. A VA is, I know a lot of entrepreneurs. I know a lot of business owners, and most of them are pretty disorganized people. Or if they're not disorganized, they're chaotic. And that's been me most of my life. Most of my life, I was scrambling around, doing lots and lots of different things, involved in plenty of projects. And I didn't realize that it was preventable. I didn't realize that so much of it was actually my own pride, my own ego getting in the way. Actually, if you look for people who are better than you at the things that you don't want to do, business starts to, you get onto this flywheel, things start moving a lot faster. But that what you're talking about before, the leap of faith, you can't do it. You can't do it without the leap of faith. You have to employ the person, employ the system, build the process.
And let it grow.
You got to let it grow. It's going to be capital intensive, and the capital will either be financial or emotional.
And most times in the beginning, it's both.
Yeah, it ought to be both.
Especially if you're a small startup, it's emotional. Any decision you make in a small startup or a small business is always emotional, irrespective if you've got cash flow or not, because it's still close to the heart. Coming back to sort of the main thing around your business, so obviously Facebook marketing in that sense as well. We spoke about it when we met. I met up with Nathan a couple of weeks ago. We met up for coffee, and I think it went like 2 hours later for for a cup of coffee, as most times it gets going. And we spoke about, and it's a thing, and it's a struggle to most people understand, is the evolution in the business sense across Facebook, as well as in Instagram at the moment of not from an influencer space, but a business space. So an actual person selling a product or business, not someone taking photos of their tits at the beach and saying, I'm an influencer, right?
They're still influencing someone or something.
Right, it totally is, right? Not that shit. Talking about an actual product and business and stuff like that. And I said, the challenges, and we spoke about an example of something you did years and years ago, which can't be done today. And it worked 2 years ago, or it worked a year ago, and it's been locked down. What is this sort of way, and I think a lot of people are trying to find out, what's the sort of way that you guys would learn? Because there's no Bible out there, and there's no place you can source it. Every 4 weeks when Instagram changes or Facebook changes or something like that. Because at the moment, the likes have disappeared. They're talking about the Facebook likes disappearing. They're talking about showing the organic reach has just plummeted with the new algorithms. LinkedIn, different platform. LinkedIn's organic reach has plummeted because they're doing that because you've got to pay for reach.
Yeah, pay to play.
It's about pay to play, right?
But the strategy that all of the platforms have used, and whenever people come to me, they're like, I can't believe Instagram took away organic reach. And I'm like, really? What song sheet are you reading off? Because I'm reading a script that every platform shows every single time. We're going to give you a treat. We're going to let you play with it, and you're going to enjoy it. We're going to give you the puppy. All right, you're going to get addicted to puppies, and the puppy is social validity or validification or likes, comments. We're going to give you it for free. It's just like gambling. It's all the same framework, which is give you something, get you addicted to it, and then take it away, and then go, oh, you want that thing again? You need to give me some money for it. And then the amount of money increases, right? So it starts off super cheap. LinkedIn will do boosted posts within the next 12. I guarantee you there will be on your LinkedIn profile some
sponsored posts happen already. It's already
it'll be across the board.
Yeah, it's small,
as
right?
businesses at the moment.
Yeah, it's quite. Look here, I do a little bit of LinkedIn. I mean, on my personal side of my day job as well as the podcast as well, and they exist a little bit in that sense. And I haven't done as much research in that space, but it is definitely
not on personal though, right?
Yeah, not on personal, but it's definitely 6 to 12 months behind Facebook and Instagram and
it'll catch up.
It'll catch up and it's following everything else. But it's sort of an interesting one.
But it's going to happen. It's going to happen to all platforms, and they do it over and over again. Stories, Instagram stories at the moment, like massive engagements on stories, huge engagements. That will be pay to play soon. It has to be. I guarantee within the next 12 months, there'll be a little button that says, do you want your story to be shown to more people? And this is how Facebook words it. And it'll be the same thing. I'm willing to put money on this. If someone wants to take a bet, I'm a betting man. So it'll say something like, this story is performing better than your last few stories. Do you want to show it to more people? Press boost below or something to that accord. It's the same script over and over again. Yeah.
I mean, but again, totally, it's all correct. But is there, and it's something everyone asks, there is no quick way, right? There isn't a quick way you can't, Instagram, you used to could hack it, the follows, unfollows, the buys and that so forth, and Instagram have locked down. Facebook and Instagram, is there still existing outside of some small secret?
Yeah.
There's no real hackability of it?
Look, I'm with Gary V on this. Like, you can't hack building a relationship. What you can do is expedite it. So, like a hack, even this week, we're running into issues with Instagram's blocking bots. And so we used to use like bots, like a fake account doing comments. Like, those comments, you get great content with a heart. That's not a real person. It's someone doing an automation, right? So all of those bots, they're being eradicated from Instagram. They're spending thousands of hours getting rid of them. But what that means is if you have two people from different IP addresses signing into one account, they'll throttle the actions you can take. So we have an assistant in the Philippines who is responding to comments for one of our brands. That's not working anymore. So because they've detected we have two IPs, they've gone, that one's a bot, that one's the real person. And so even things that we were doing that are not hacks, like we had a real person doing it. Facebook and Instagram are both going, okay, cool, we need to peel that back.
Yeah, they want to control, they
want it to be more real.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've had a page, as anyone that's got an Instagram page or business page, I had a social company say, hey, we want to give you likes and everything like that. And I had a post, I don't know when it was on my personal account that I actually have closed down. And they just sent the likes. I didn't even pay for it. They're like, oh, we sent you 300 likes. And just to see if you liked them.
Like the social envy. Do you hear about those guys?
No, I haven't heard about it. I know about social envy. If there's a story behind them, I'd love to hear. And then they come back and said, look, we gave you 300 likes and so forth. But I know that 2 or 3 years ago, you could survive that. Instagram didn't really give a shit because they still were bored. And now...
But people also bought into it. They'd see the 300 likes, but damn, there must be a good post. I'm going to go comment on it.
Yeah, totally. But now Instagram's going, no, and we're going to now bring you down the order. If you bought and if stuff's spam. And also, realistically, they exist in the sense of if any of my posts go viral for any reason, and it's not actually viral itself, they can just go, oh yeah, and they'll just shut it down.
100%. I think to your point, is there hacks? No, you can't hack building a community. You can't hack laser targeting your focus on a particular customer. Like it used to be easy, now it's hard. If you want to go get 100,000 followers in a month, go to TikTok. Like that's where you can still do that. Can you still get viral videos organically? To anyone who says organic reach is dead, bullshit. Like it's not dead, it's just harder. Like the days where it was easier.
Just on a side comment, I know that Nathan is talking about it. He did a post this week. I think it's on Facebook or LinkedIn. Go Nathan Frater on LinkedIn, organic reach, and I think you guys achieved 20,000 reach. 20,000 reach in a few days organically.
In an hour.
In an hour, right? 20,000 reach in an hour organically. So I don't know who you bribed, I don't know who you paid, but it's organic as 20,000. Go have a look.
It was we used a competition framework to feed people into a messenger bot, and then we told people in the bot to go and comment on a post. So we used
which is simplistic in its nature, what people are using these days.
We did. It was a comment to win sweepstake, and we generated. The last time we ran this competition, it was organic. We built the bot, generated $6,500 in sales for $150 worth of product. So you can still gain, but that is a hack. It's something we're doing. It's not high intention, high quality.
But you can't do it every week, though.
You can't do it every week. Give it 6 months, and I won't be able to do that anymore. But I'll need to find a new way of doing it. And so to answer your question, because I feel like you're looking for me to give away a little nugget.
No, okay, you do what you want to do, and you say what you want to say, right? I know you're not gonna open your book.
I'll open up everything. So there are some fundamentals. If you stick to the fundamentals, you will grow a following. It's a matter of time and pressure. The fundamentals are respond to every single question, and I have this is one of the first things we teach all of our clients. Show someone the amount of love they showed you or more. So if someone asks you a question, an amateur social media manager will respond to a question with a closed comment, right? Yep. So someone goes, you post something, someone comments on it. A social media manager is trained to end the conversation. That's 101 of channel management or social media management. I would do the opposite. Yep. So you want as many comments and as many long comments as possible, because Facebook and Instagram have a thing they're monitoring called the meaningful conversation algorithm. That means the more meaningful the conversation is on a post, the more people they'll show it to organically. Yep. Not paid, organic. If people are writing massive essays on your content, right? And then on Instagram, is the post saved? Yep. So you can literally say, if you want to save this post, if you want some valuable info on A, B, C, D, E. Yep. And so you can train people to do what you want. So tell people, give people a specific action, comment below if you have X. There's a reason Gary Vee's doing that kind of shit. Every comment, respond with the same amount of love as that person showed you, and try to open up dialogue, not close dialogue. Okay? So that's fatal error I see all of the time on social media. The other thing as well, repurpose your content. So Brendan Burchard, who's a guy I have a lot of respect for, he wrote High Performance Habits, has an amazing podcast, highly recommend it. He coined this term, and this is one of those like bullshit frameworks that internet entrepreneurs have, but it works. So circular virality. So we spoke about it the other day. Use one piece of content, split it into 10, right? And so when you're looking at how to grow a following, if you need to post 3 times a day, you don't need 3 unique pieces of content. No. You need one content to split into 3.
Yeah, correct.
There are all of those types of things. It's all about building the community. Small things you can do. People love to feel special, right? So you can make someone feel special by tagging them in a post on your wall or putting them in your Instagram story. But actually, every time someone follows you, do the shit that doesn't scale, right? So when someone follows you, send them a private message. But like, hey, thanks for the follow. I really appreciate it. If you want to be updated on whenever I have a new podcast, here's my email list. Super simple. Literally every business in the world could do that. And I would say under 0.1% privately message their followers. So that's the thing. Do a poll. When you do a poll on your Instagram story, even if someone hasn't followed you or you haven't followed them, you can send them a message and it goes into their primary folder, not their other folder. So if you do a poll, you can private message every single person they have to interact in the poll.
So that opens that.
So ask a question, go, and so do you listen to my podcast yet? Everyone says no. Hey, I'd love to get you listening to the podcast. What are you interested in? You're interested in business, you're interested in farming, you're interested in, corporate environments, whatever. Listen to this podcast, it's perfect. I guarantee you'll be the only person with a podcast, aside from Gary Vee, because he does this shit every fucking day.
And everyone that's listening now.
And everyone that's listening now will now be doing this shit. So like, those are the things, and they don't scale well. The guys who started Airbnb, one of their famous things is, when they launched that company, they had this concept of do the things that scale before you scale. Or do the things that don't scale before you scale. Meaning, there are things you can do, like talking to every single customer. You can only do that when you have under 1,000 customers.
It gets a bit hard after that.
So they actually went and took photos. Personally, the founders of the company would take the photos for the listings. Because they found out that listings with good photos, they're the ones that perform the best. So before, when the company was growing, they went and bought a DSLR, pretended to be pro photographers, went into people's apartments, took photos of their shit, asked them questions, and got direct customer feedback. So most people are actually in a business. Most people I come across are in a business where they can still interact one-to-one with their customers, but they need to create the time to do that. So that's where outsourcing, like hiring a VA, getting them to do the shit that's taking up the most of your time, then invest that extra time you generate in building better relationships with your customers, making them love you more, building that rapport, just like sales, and it'll be memorable. because so few brands are actually taking the time to invest in relationships. It's just sell, sell, sell.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I love I didn't realize on what you're talking about, Instagram, on the stories, there's a different nugget even for myself now to be able to get the messaging in. I've seen a few people this week on my Instagram actually message me back and saying thanks for the follow and so forth. But I wasn't sure if those were still bots because 12 months ago, again, unfortunately, it was very bot driven.
And some of them will be bots.
Yeah, some of them will be bots because they were bot driven to a 3-paragraph on a, as soon as you follow them, you got a 3-paragraph DM and said, hey, here's my brand and here's the stuff. So I'm guessing the difference is to try and push it away from seen as a bot is do an honest intro and then do a secondary if you need more, right? Yeah. So it doesn't read off the bat of me going, hey, this is me. If you love my podcast, bang, 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 bang. Because it might seem like a bot anyway.
I mean, for me, it's relationship building 101. I would never send someone a direct... I do a lot of outbound sales on LinkedIn. And I would never send someone a message and talk about myself.
Yeah.
Never. It's always something to play to someone's ego, to get them to accept the request, and then ask them a question. Or give them some value. Instead of, I get every day I get a message from someone on LinkedIn being like, hey, I'm a BDM for this business and I'm the perfect person for you. And I'm like, fuck off. See you later. Just delete.
Yeah, it's again, totally. I mean, and it's seeing that honest stuff. I think good old Gary did it all the time in the sense of where you would find out something personal about the guy they're talking about the relationship or the sports jumper one, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember. This is a few years old. He sent a guy that he was trying to get his business a jumper for his favorite sports team signed by the team and everything, and he sent it out. Cost him a bit of money and sent it to this guy, and this guy did nothing. And then 6 or 9 months later or something, all of a sudden this big a rush of work came in, and Gary went to the accounts and said, hey, what's going on? And what found out was the guy that he sent the jersey to said to all his mates, he said, hey, look here, I'm not going to go to Gary because I'm happy where I am, but if you need anything, go to Gary. And it was that whole strategy of looking into it and relationship into it.
And like Gary's the king of empathy, right? He's
honest. Honest.
Yeah,
he's honest, right?
Yeah, and he understands. He just understands what people need.
Yeah,
and what people want, and that's the thing. Like all of the rules in social media, they're always going to be changing. The platforms have changed. But the founding principles of marketing, which is people buy off stories, like. That's never going to change. Like the videos that go viral now, actually there's two. There's like the meme style shit and like people falling down a flight of stairs and nutsing themselves. Like there's that type of viral content. But then there's the heartwarming BuzzFeed style articles. Those heartwarming, inviting, emotional stories, that's what sells. And that will always go viral. Because it's inherently shareable. And that's what I find interesting is how do I find and create shareable stories, and that's actually going to make your marketing dollars go further anyway.
And I guess it's something as well as always when you performing the content and anything like that, always use the same not the same tools. I want to use the same tools. Follow the step as if the content was going to go viral. So, example, there was a gentleman, Zachary Babcock from Underdog Empowerment. I think he's top 200 in the States. Amazing podcast series. He's been on here before as well. He did a video where they were filming a video and some little kid was running away from the cops. I'm talking about like a 6-year-old or 5 or 6-year-old, and the cops was chasing this little kid, and he had this video and he put it on. And like I went like 40,000 views or 50,000 views in a day, something ridiculous. And someone said a comment to him going, dude, you should have your business link as part of the description,
in
right?
That video,
No, just as a description, as everyone is sharing it, and he did add it on after the case. But it was in the sense of when you release a piece of content, you never know the fucking Kylie Jenner egg. The most famous photo in the world at the moment. You'll do one thing, but you don't put the right tool set above it. You could miss that for 24 hours of the star. It's the same as the Wookiee chick. With the Wookiee, the Wookiee mask, right? Chick, that became viral and went on Ellen. Imagine you having one video that has 40 million views in 24 hours and you didn't put your company name or you didn't put the right message in about it.
It's such a different mindset. I think I know one of our clients, I'm working through at the moment a challenge where she has an amazing website. Right? Like her website's 150,000 visitors a month.
Damn.
Right? And so she came to me, she's like, I have a problem.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, what's your problem? She's like, well, I have 150,000 visitors a month, but I don't have $150,000.
Yeah.
And
so it's not closing the sale.
And so we redesigned. She wasn't asking for the sale enough, but the whole website was built around giving value.
Yep.
And there's this duality between, delivering content and delivering, and generating revenue. And she was getting caught, and it's a different mindset. And so she said, like, she's worked in marketing. She comes to me and she's like, I know that I need to ask for the sale.
Yep.
I even know how to ask for the sale.
Yep.
But as a business owner, she's like, I have my blinders on. This is such a blind spot for me. She's like, I don't even know where to begin. So we did a full strategy, and it was actually really fun. And look, it's not like, she's doubled her sales since we implemented all this stuff.
Yep.
That's not enough, but it's it's a start and it's heading in the right direction.
Correct.
But the point is that she's in a mindset so often of how can I deliver value to my followers. She has hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people every year.
Yeah.
1 million new visitors a year. It's stupid. 1 million people visit her website every year for the first time. And she's going, how can I help them? And not going, how can I close this? And sometimes there is that duality.
Yeah,
that
the relationship, right?
And it can be quite challenging. Sometimes you need someone in your ear going, double your prices. You need to charge more money. Like that's and it can be quite challenging. I mean, I get caught in my own business of I want to create content and I want to help people. I don't ask for the sale enough.
Yep.
So I've just employed someone to ask for the sale. Because it's like I don't want to do it. I want to serve. I want to serve people. I want to help people. I want to do that with integrity.
And then put something in front and go.
And if someone else can jump in front of them with the here's how much it's going to cost.
No, I totally understand that. Nathan, I said earlier, I always say to my podcast, we're going to do 20, 30 minutes on the show. I think we just passed 40 minutes as well. We could sit here for hours and hours and talk about social media and the brand and the board and so forth. And, we'll always come back to it. Before we end off today's show, there's a lot of content. We've spoken about all tips and tricks we've got into there. What's one thing or two things you want to leave the listeners with today to think about social media marketing or their business, irrespective of something that you want to leave them with today?
I would say, if I'm looking at what I like to share with people, one of the things I like to share is ask for help. If you're in business or looking at getting into business, find people who you want to be. You don't need to be super original. You don't need to come up with something that's never been thought of before. Go find someone who you want to be. Ask them to mentor you. How do they live their life? How are they with their partner, with their children, with their employees? Do they embody the person that you want to become? If so, reach out to them. I have a really simple message whenever I reach out to a new mentor. I just say, I love what you do. I have a lot of respect for you. I can't offer you anything in the form of money. What I can offer you is I will execute on what you share with me, on what you tell me to do. So that would be, more of a business thing is actually, it's hard to do this when you're alone. Entrepreneurship can fucking suck. In fact, I would say more often than not, it's shit. But when it's amazing, it's fucking awesome. And so make sure you build that support network. Don't be afraid to lose friends. I'm not afraid to lose friends because I know that there are really amazing people out there who will support me. And then from the, to flip the script a little bit, business-wise and social media-wise, talk to your fucking customers more. Like to you, talk to your customers as much as possible. Build those one-to-one interactions. Build those conversations. People buy off people they love and trust. And all too often, if you want to double your business, and this goes almost any business I work with, the first thing we do is go back and talk to past customers. That's where all the money is. Everyone's like, I need to create a new product. I need to create a new revenue stream. I need to increase my marketing budget. And it's like, when did you last call every single customer you've got? And just check in. People who we're doing it in my business right now. This is next week's task. Every single person we've ever invoiced, and company history for my 2 companies I'm running at the moment, my consulting business and my agency.
Yep.
And we're going to go call them all.
Yep. And take those learnings and implement whatever the changes required around it, right?
Yeah. Why did the relationship end if it ended?
Yep.
What do you like about the relationship if it's still
still
going?
yep.
And what do you not like? So that gives us if it's resoundingly like we love everything about you, cool. Can you give us a referral? Double your business.
Yep.
If it's we don't love all of these things, turn around, fix it, go back to them. They charge you. They pay you more money because you're doing a better job.
Yep.
If it didn't work out, like if the relationship turned to shit, then give them a call anyway and be like, hey, look, like it didn't work out. We've grown as a business. We've grown as people. We'd really love some input on, what didn't work, why did it not work, and feed that into our iterations and feed that into our growth.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I love that. It's great tips for our listeners, of going back, reviewing what it is, and actually reviewing what has already been done without having to evolve into new, like you said, new marketing budgets or new products, anything, because you might have a model that is close to perfect already, just with some simple changes without having to spend a lot of money other than time, and can implement and make a change going forward. But that's awesome. And thanks, Nathan, for that. Before we end off today, please let our listeners know where they can find you socially and company website and everything.
So we've got a website which is just www.backbone.nz. You can go there, you can read a little bit more about my story. There's some funny letters there that we've written to our customers, a couple testimonials. If you want to reach out to me and talk, even just to have a chat, you can get me on LinkedIn.
Yep.
So I think it's linkedin.com/just Nathan Frater. I'm always on there. Otherwise, LinkedIn, Instagram, nathan.backbone.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as always, I'll have his links in any of the social media posts that I do from here. And to everyone that is listening or watching today, thank you again for coming over to the Wolf of Queen Street podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And by all means, if you're enjoying this, please put a like, subscribe, or a share. And if you don't like it, do I give a shit? No. No. As Nathan said, if you're not enjoying it, let me know why, and I'll see if I can improve it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much, Nathan, and to everyone else, thanks for joining us again. Have a great day.